She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
I wanted to come on, and it's been 2 weeks since our mom was taken, and I just wanted to come on and say that we still have hope, and we still believe.
In the world of high-stakes kidnapping, silence is the one thing you fear more than a threat. For Savannah Guthrie, a woman who has spent decades filling our living rooms with her voice, her poise, and her reporting, the silence of the last 24 hours have been deafening. We are standing on the precipice of a nightmare. As of this moment, the sun has set on the deadline. The $6 billion Bitcoin ransom remains unclaimed. The digital countdown has hit zero, and Nancy Guthrie, an 84-year grandmother, is still missing in the shadows of the Arizona desert. Look at her face. This isn't the Today Show Savannah. There are no teleprompters here, no makeup artist, no script, just a daughter. On February night, Savannah took to social media for what she called her hour of desperation. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. She wasn't just talking to the public, she was talking to the people holding her mother. She said, "We understand, we are ready. Please, just tell us she's safe." But what does it mean to understand the message from the dark web? What does it mean when a global news icon is forced to negotiate in a currency that leaves no paper trail? Today, we aren't just looking at a missing person case. We are looking at a calculated digital age search on one of America's most recognizable families. To understand why this is the most terrifying story of 2026, you have to go back to the beginning. Tucson, Arizona. The Catalina Foothills. It's a place of rugged beauty.
And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. And we believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of it. What I'm talking about is the headline every minute of the day, whether it is on television, a newspaper, a website, or social media, about Savannah Guthrie and her missing 84-year-old mother. Now, don't get me wrong. My heart aches for anybody who's abducted, especially an 84-year-old who needs her medication. I hope she's found yesterday. But the world doesn't stop spinning because some celebrity television host of a far-left program that runs in the morning has her mother missing. I want to give you some statistics. You'd never know about it because it's never covered like Savannah's mother's covered. Thousands of children every single day are reported missing. Hundreds every single day are abducted by family members or people they know. And about one every day or every other day, depending on the month, is abducted by a stranger. We never hear about it. And if we do hear about it, we just hear about it like on the 5th or 6th story. It's a quick blurb, and we never hear about it again unless the person's found dead. And what a shame that is. So my issue is, why is this woman getting so much attention and the other people who go through this sort of thing, they're completely blown off. And I mean blown off. You know and I know that they probably don't even get the best detective in the precinct. Now, Fox News this morning puts it on the headline at the very top. A picture of the sheriff down in Tucson who's leading this whole investigation. He was at a basketball game. Somebody took a picture of him. And it was based on how dare he be here at a basketball game while the Guthries are trying to find their mother. First of all, is the guy supposed to work 24/7? Does he work exclusively for the Guthries? Is he a private investigator or is he elected sheriff? And is he not supposed to stop to eat, sleep, go to the bathroom, take a shower? Can't go to a basketball game to just unwind the amount of stress that's on this man? And because he's there, does that mean that nobody else is looking into things? Let me tell you this. You know and I know that if we had the means, financial means that Savannah Guthrie had, I wouldn't be waiting on some sheriff. I would be having every top detective and private investigator in the country working on this 24/7. So my heart aches for the 84-year-old, but I tell you what, if we're going to give her that amount of time because her daughter is a celebrity, let's give it to everybody. Otherwise, this is why people can't stand celebrities, they can't stand the members of Congress, and they absolutely despise the media.
Multi-million-dollar homes tucked into the saguaro cactus and usually impenetrable safety. Nancy Guthrie has lived here for years. She is the matriarch, the rock. On the night of January 31st, everything seemed normal. A family dinner, a hug at the door, a see you tomorrow. But by 1:47 a.m., the safety of that home was shattered. Security footage, now being poured over by the FBI's elite kidnapping task force, shows a figure, a shadow, someone who knew exactly where the cameras were, someone who didn't just break in, they hunted. Why Nancy? Why now? Investigators are looking at the Bitcoin factor. This wasn't a random snatch and grab. The kidnappers didn't ask for a suitcase of cash in a pack. They asked for $6 million in Bitcoin. That requires a specific level of technical sophistication. It requires a cold wallet. It requires an untraceable bridge. This suggests that the people who took the Savannah Guthrie's murder aren't just criminals, they are engineers of chaos. But here's the detail that keeps investigators up at night. Nancy Guthrie wears a pacemaker. In 2026, these devices are more than just lifesavers. They are data hubs. At 2:28 a.m. on the night she vanished, Nancy's pacemaker app, which synchronizes to a tablet in her kitchen, sent a final ping. It wasn't a health alert, it was a disconnection. Imagine the horror of the Guthrie family looking at that data. That disconnect wasn't just technical, it was the moment Nancy was pulled out of range, the moment she was taken from her life and thrust into the unknown. Since that point, the only communication has been through the code, calculated medium of encrypted ransom notes sent to media outlets. No phone calls, no proof of life, just a wallet address and a ticking clock. As the news broke, the internet did what it does best and what it does worst. Within hours, Savannah Guthrie was trending globally. But while the public offered prayers, the darker side of the web began to churn. We've seen ransom trolls claiming to have information. We've seen fake Bitcoin addresses posted in the comment section trying to divert the Guthrie family's money into the pocket of scammers. This is why Savannah Plea was so desperate. She had to cut through the noise. She had to signal to the real captors that she was listening. In her video, she mentions a banquet of wheats. It's a strange, haunting detail that the FBI released. The kidnapper was seen on the doorbell cam carrying a bunch of desert wheats to hide their face. It's an image that feels like something out of a horror movie, yet it's a reality for a family that is currently living through the most public kidnapping since the Lindbergh baby. As we sit here, the deadline has passed. In the world of kidnapping, the expiration of a deadline is the red zone. It's the moment where the leverage shifts. If the money hasn't moved and the captors haven't spoken, what does that mean for Nancy? In this video, we are going to reconstruct the entire 17-day timeline. We're going to look at the suspicious Ozark trail, seen on a highway camera miles, 3 miles from the house. We are going to analyze the linguistics on the ransom notes. And most importantly, we are going to look at the life updates coming out of Tucson and New York as Savannah Guthrie waits for a phone call that could either save her mother or break her heart. This is the hour of desperation. This is the hunt for Nancy Guthrie. Let's get into the evidence. To solve a crime, you have to live in the minutes before it happened. You have to walk the perimeter, check the locks, and look at the world through the eyes of the person who was taken. And the person who took her, for Nancy Guthrie, the night of January 31st, 2026, was supposed to be a quiet end to a family evening. But as we look at the timeline the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department have reconstructed, we see a series of small chilling events that led directly into a void. It's 9:45 p.m. Nancy's son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, pulls into the driveway of her home in the Catalina Foothills. They've just finished a family dinner and a game of mahjong, a Guthrie family tradition since the 70s. Nancy is 84, sharp as a tack, but her body is frail. She has limited mobility. Tommaso watches her walk through the front door, makes sure the lights are on, and waves goodbye. This is the last time a member of the Guthrie family sees Nancy. At this moment, the house is a sanctuary, but outside, in the shadows of the sangua cactus, the masked intruder is already waiting. We know this because of what happened next. At 1:47 a.m., the first blow of the investigation is struck. Nancy's Nest doorbell camera, the one that should have been a silent witness, goes dark. But it wasn't a power outage. FBI Director Kash Patel later revealed that residual data from the backend system showed a figure approaching the door. This figure wasn't just wearing a mask, they were carrying what investigators described as a banquet of wits. Think about it. It sounds like a surreal detail from a David Lynch movie. The intruder used desert flora to obstruct the camera's lens before manually disconnecting the unit. This wasn't a smash and grab by a common thief. It was professional surveillance. They knew the tech, they knew the blind spots. Then comes the most haunting piece of evidence in the entire case, the heartbeat. Nancy wears a pacemaker. At 2:28 a.m., the app synced to her tablet recorded a disconnection event. It wasn't a health failure, it was a distance failure. Nancy Guthrie was being moved. She was being taken away from her bedside, away from her home, and into the night. By Sunday morning, the alarm bell starts ringing. Nancy doesn't show up for a regular church service. For a woman of her faith and routine, this is the ultimate red flag. When family members arrive at the house, they find a scene that Sheriff Chris Nanos calls deeply concerning. Small droplet of blood on the couch, a struggle inside, a cell phone left on the nightstand. Nancy is gone. As the research enters its first week, the FBI joins the hunt. They aren't just looking for Nancy, they are looking for a ghost. They begin a 2-mile radius sweep. On February 13th, they find a breakthrough. In a field near a roadside, investigators recover a single black glove. Now, in the desert research, you find a lot of cash. They found 16 gloves that week, mostly dropped by search teams. But this one was different. It was a tactical style. Glove that appeared to match the one seen on the Mark's figure in the recovered 1:47 a.m. footage. By February 15th, a preliminary DNA result from a lab in Florida confirms the worst. The DNA on that glove belongs to an unidentified male, not a family member, not a friend, and not a predator. While the boots are on the ground in Tucson, the battle moves to the digital world. This is where the story takes a turn into the truly bizarre. Ransom notes began appearing, not in Savannah's mailbox, but in the inbox of news outlets like TMZ and K9. The first demand is $4 million in Bitcoin. The deadline, February 5th. But the family doesn't have proof of life. In the modern age of AI and deepfakes, Savannah and her siblings, Annie and Cameron, are caught in a terrifying catch-22. How do you pay $4 million when the voice on the other end could be a computer program? When the February 5th deadline passes, the kidnappers don't go away. They escalate. They send a second note. The price goes to $6 million in Bitcoin. The new deadline, Monday, February 9th at 5 p.m. The notes include a terrifying detail. It mentions Nancy Pacemaker and a need for high blood pressure medication. They're letting the family know that they know our weaknesses, which brings us back to that video Savannah posted on the afternoon of the deadline. She calls it the hour of desperation. She tells the world, we understand the message and we are ready. In the language of crisis negotiation, Savannah was opening the door. She was telling the captors that the money was ready, but the silence from the other side remained total. As the clock hit 5 p.m. on February 9th, the Bitcoin wallet address provided by the kidnappers remained at a zero balance. Why didn't they pay? The FBI stopped them, or did the imposter arrest in California? A man caught trying to scam the family with a fake ransom poisoned the well. As of February 17, we are 8 days past that final deadline. The FBI has deployed signal sniffers on helicopters flying low over the Arizona desert, hoping to catch a stray electronic ping from the pacemaker that might be a beating. Perhaps the most unique forensic element of this case is the pacemaker ping. We know Nancy's device stopped synchronizing with the Apple Watch and phone at approximately 2:28 a.m. on February 1st. This is a critical distance event. It tells investigators exactly when she was moved out of the Bluetooth range of her home. But the search hasn't stopped there. In a move rarely seen in kidnapper cases, authorities have deployed a signal sniffer mounted on a helicopter. They're literally combining the Tucson area and nearby Rio Rico region, hoping to catch a stray electronic signal from the medical device Nancy relies on. This isn't just a search for a person, it's a search for a digital heartbeat in a vast, rugged terrain. Then there is money. Why Bitcoin? Then there is money. Why Bitcoin? Cryptocurrency expert like Ravi Satsi from Norton Investing point out that while Bitcoin is pseudo-anonymous, it's also an open public ledger. Every move the kidnappers make with that $6 million demand leaves a permanent, immutable breadcrumb. The FBI cyber unit is currently using clustering patterns and transaction graph techniques to see if that wallet has ever touched a known exchange where a real name or social security number might be attached. The kidnappers are playing a dangerous game. If they move the money to a mixer like Tornado Cash to hide their tracks, they risk financial scrutiny. If they move it to an exchange to cash out, they risk immediate arrest. This digital stalemate is likely why we haven't seen the proof of life the family is so desperately seeking. Finally, we have the physical evidence found 2 miles from the home. On February 14th, search teams recovered a tactical glove that appears to match the one worn by the intruder in the security footage. The FBI is currently analyzing the unknown DNA found on that glove. This is the holy grail of the investigation. If that DNA matches a profile in CODIS, that is the National DNA Database, the marked intruder will finally have a name. Until then, Savannah Guthrie's family remain in what we call this nightmare, waiting for the one lead that will bring Nancy home. We are at the crossroad. The hour of desperation has passed, but the hour of resolve is just beginning. Savannah Guthrie has spent her career telling other people's story, often on other darkest days. Now the world is telling us. Whether this ends in a daring rescue or a tragic discovery, the Guthrie case has changed the way we think about security in the digital age. It has shown us that no matter how many cameras we install or how much crypto security we have, we are still human and we are still vulnerable and we still need each other. Thank you for staying with us through this deep dive into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. This is a developing situation and will be pinned to the life updates as they come in from the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI. If you found this breakdown helpful, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. It will help us keep these stories in the algorithm and ensure Nancy's fate stays in front of as many eyes as possible. I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you believe the Bitcoin ransom was a distraction or is this the work of a professional digital cartel? What do you make of the banquet of weed suspects? Let's discuss it below. Thanks for watching.